Good afternoon, everybody. Hey, hope my 488 folks are doing good. Well, this is going to be kind of a lengthy video for you guys, but I wanted to catch up on quite a few things here. From Porter all the way up to your executive summaries, if we can. So what did we learn about Porter? What was Porter after? So the discussion boards, we started talking a little bit about what Porter was trying to figure out, or what he was trying to drill down to, but I'm not sure everybody is getting that. So I apologize, I'm going to put my sunglasses down. Porter was really looking to figure out who had control, okay? And to do that, we had to determine who had leverage on what. So some of the easiest things to look at when we're looking at industry analysis, I apologize for the animals here. When we're looking at industry analysis, is trying to understand who's in control of what. So when we're looking at, like, for example, the easy ones, the automotive industry, the automotive companies are buying stuff in such huge volumes. A lot of these items are commodity based. So Ford, GM, Honda, Chrysler, Toyota, these guys all have control because they're buying millions and millions of these parts, whether it's tires, gears, products for their engines, plastic components, whatever those things are, they're buying a whole lot of. And what also makes it easy to switch from one competitor or supplier to the next is that the switching costs are low. So for example, let's just stick with the plastic stuff for a second. So if we're looking at plastic parts and components that go inside the cockpit of the vehicle, look, we source those out to a supplier, but if the supplier's not giving it to us at a price that we like, we pick up the tooling, we take it to another one. It doesn't involve a whole lot of cost to switch. So these guys have a ton of control. Walmart has a ton of control over its suppliers, again, because of volume, and they're buying commodity product. When does this change? What industries would this not be the same in? Well, industries that are technically leveraged, okay? Aerospace, medical, science, where you've got a lot of highly leveraged technical product that also may be protected by copyrights or patents, okay? Those industries are generally much different. Now, the suppliers have a little bit more control because there's probably fewer of them. It's not a commodity product. They're protected. The technology is protected. It's proprietary. It becomes a little bit of a different game then when you're negotiating price and you're negotiating quality and control, okay? So think about it that way. The more technical a product is, the more technically leveraged it is, okay? The more control as a supplier you're going to have versus the guy buying a product, okay? So that's what he's getting at. So he's looking at these competitive forces in these different industries, doing the industry analysis, and he's trying to figure out, right, who has control and who has control of what. Now, the other part of this particular model is how easy is it to enter into a market space? So if you were making jets and airplanes, things like that, I want you to think about that for a minute. How easy is it to get into the aerospace industry? Those barriers to entry must be huge, don't you think? Based on cost, based on proprietary information, based on the ability to have cash flow large enough to handle and sustain your company until it becomes solvent enough to have an income. So those industries are really tricky compared to others, okay? How about the absolute opposite, like restaurants, pizzas? Much easier, right? Because to start a pizza company or to start a restaurant, costs aren't so high, okay? And this is probably why a lot of these companies fail, because a lot of people get into them because the costs aren't that high, all right? But they may not always have the right location or the right product or the right pricing to be successful. So those are two different extremes. So Porter was looking at industry analysis from a perspective of what causes industries to be easy to get into, more difficult, what causes them to be more competitive or less competitive. So you look at the automotive industry and it's very competitive, right? There's very few players. It's an oligopoly type market, right? So it's very concentrated and fragmented, meaning that there's absolutely no one really strong leader out there right now overall. We could say Ford trucks are the leading truck manufacturer. That's fair. But what about cars? We don't know. Okay, for sure, at least not that I'm aware of, where we definitely have one car company producing more than another, and the ratings are such that they're winning hands down, right? So that's what Porter's about. Now, how do we put that into our cases? Well, each of these cases can be applied to Porter's model, or his model applied to them, okay? When you look at Under Armour, Adidas, and you look at Nike, man, concentrated market, highly competitive. The place that they're relieving themselves from profit compression really is with their suppliers, okay? Their suppliers. Now, what happened when Under Armour came in the market? They disrupted the market by doing what? They had clothing that did something a little bit different than what Nike and Adidas was providing. That clothing was able to wick away sweat and keep the body at a certain temperature under extreme conditions during athletic performance, right? So they turned the industry upside down with that product. That's what Porter's looking for. What is that then? That's a unique and rare thing called what? It's called a core competency. Okay, Under Armour will always be known as the performance sportswear company because they were first. So they'll always have an edge there. But I think Nike and Adidas will always have an edge in footwear because they were some of the pioneers in athletic footwear. Nike came on in the late 70s, early 80s with some amazing athletic footwear, particularly for baseball, that Adidas could not keep up with. So they won a lot of market share that way. But the bottom line is it easy or hard to get in that market? It's hard. It's hard. New Balance has been trying to get into there with those three guys, those three players forever, and they can't. Skechers, same, but Skechers is doing something totally different. They're diversifying their market space, don't you think, to some degree? It's related, but they have a much more broad agenda, I think, than the other three. Okay, so that's a little bit about Porter's, okay? While we're standing here on the deck and enjoying our afternoon. Let's talk about market approaches for a second. So in the discussion board, we talked a lot about these market approaches. Look, man, these big companies, big box companies, and I'm just gonna, not use the Wikipedia definition of big box. I'm gonna give you, mine, and that would be any company that is large. Okay, we're talking all the automotive companies. I used Fender, Gibson, those guitar companies, motorcycles, Honda, Suzuki, Kawasaki, KTM, same. All these companies are taking advantage of all these different levels of market approaches. Now, they all don't look like Walmart, where it's like the Chinese connection, all right, and it's low price all the way across. No, that's not what we're talking